Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome onto my channel. Thank you for clicking on. We're going to be discussing Mercury Retrograde, guys. We are moving into Mercury Retrograde season. This is for all zodiac signs. Wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up about what is coming in. Mercury Retrograde starts on the 30th of January, guys, and it goes straight up until the 20th of February. We're out of it on the 21st of February, but remember, it can linger. We can even begin to feel the effects of Mercury Retrograde a couple of days before it actually starts to happen. What is Mercury Retrograde? You might be asking. If you know, then well, yeah, but if you don't know, Mercury Retrograde is an astrological happening where the planet Mercury looks like it is going into retrograde. So instead of it traveling at the same speed it would always travel, it looks like it's actually going into reverse behind our planet as well. It's not actually happening that way, it just looks like it from our planet. There are a lot of planets that go into retrograde throughout the year, but Mercury always gets our attention. I mean, I think it's become a meme, literally, and it's always like, yeah, Mercury retrograde is coming, your ex is coming back. Most probably, I'm just saying. The reason why it is that way is because Mercury is the one that goes into retrograde the most. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have 3 Mercury retrogrades this year. So this year, Mercury retrograde is being quite interesting, and it is moving into an air sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of communication, guys. So what you need to know, one of the things that I know before we get into the exact energy of Mercury retrograde moving into Aquarius, I want to kind of like tell you how my take on Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde, I always feel like it's coming in to teach us or to find out if we've learned our lessons. That's the kind of vibe I pick up from it. I don't look at it as a negative thing. I kind of look at it as a bit of a, it's like a surprise test from the universe kind of a vibe. It's almost like, okay, you've learned your lessons, you've passed through certain stages in your life, you've overcome difficulties and cleared blockages, and it's like those difficulties and blockages that you've cleared, sometimes they can be people, end up coming back during Mercury retrograde just to kind of like see how you will handle handle situations this time around, and even if you've learned your lessons, and then it moves on again and you kind of like can move forward. It's almost like a recurring nightmare. I'm just saying, shame, poor Mercury retrograde. I'm just kidding. So this Mercury retrograde, Aquarius energy, communication, these are some of the things that I think we will have to look into, and it's going to make you kind of like look at these situations, because it's got to do with communications. It's also got to do with things that how we would communicate. So we would communicate by speaking. Be very careful that you don't have misunderstandings with regards to expressing yourself. I'm so glad I'm recording this before Mercury retrograde. And it's also got to do with things that we do, especially with technology. So we're talking about social media, we're talking about how we like Zoom meetings, things that we have to do for work that require us to work on the internet kind of vibe. So, and even how we conduct our fun time, our social lives as well on social media. There can be a lot of misunderstandings during this time with regards to that. So take it very slow and easy. You guys, a lot of you guys may literally get a message coming in from that ex over social media, like that may be the typical hey message. Be aware, you are in Mercury retrograde. Jumping into anything new during this time is not advisable. If you have a job, by the way, that is involving a lot of communicating, especially if you're working over the internet, a lot like a YouTuber would do. We work a lot over the communicating via the internet. If your job is quite similar to that, do not start any new projects up right now, especially between the 30th of January and the 20th of February. Allow the sign, unless you've already started something, you're already doing it, then just continue doing what you're doing. But if there's a new element that you want to bring into whatever you're doing, your work, wait for it to pass. One of the most typical things people will always say, do not buy a car during Mercury retrograde, do not start a relationship during Mercury retrograde, do not go back to the ex during Mercury retrograde. You will see clearer after the 20th. I know most of us do these things anyway. Social media. This is one of the things I think that's going to be coming up a lot because it does involve communication. We're going to be looking, I think we're going to be asking a lot of questions about social media as well. and how it affects our world on an everyday basis, a lot of people might actually get really drawn into social media and find that they're spending a lot more time on social media and actually are not spending enough time in doing the things that they're meant to do. That's how Mercury retrograde could affect you during this time. And a lot of other people may be going, how is social media affecting me? How am I portraying myself out there? What are the communications that I'm getting in between me and maybe people that I don't even know? How much of my energy am I giving away through social media? And a lot of people might even decide to back away from social media for a while just to create a space. That is actually, it's almost like we need to find out truths about things. One of the other things coming up, just be aware, because we are dealing with communication, and I feel like a lot of energy of what we see, what we believe, finding out truths, trying to find, like, finding out the truth of how does social media benefit me, for instance. Is it a benefit to me, or is it a hindrance to me? Is this thing positive to my life or negative to my life? And from there, I think that's what's going to come up a lot in this Mercury retrograde. One of the things I can advise you to do is, like I said, if you've got new projects coming in, just be very careful moving into a new project at this time, kind of like with the brakes on it, or do something to release before the time. If you're going to release something new or start something new, try to do it before the 30th. I will be releasing this video like literally maybe 2 days before the time, so it's very short time. Also, another thing that you can check out as well, be careful that you keep your security online safe. Be careful what you are sharing over social media, which can compromise you in any way with regards to work as well. Don't share too much, don't speak too much as well during this time, because it's almost like what you say can kind of come back to kind of haunt you later. Check your security online as well. I think I literally went online just now, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like I'm open on the page, it's like I'm open on Google, and it literally says take a quick checkup for data privacy day. And it's so interesting that that's coming up like just a couple of days before Mercury retrograde. Do that as well. Make sure all your passwords are safe, even if you've got to do two-step authentication kind of vibes. Recheck, even change passwords if you have to. Just kind of like protect yourself before going in. One of the other things I think that we're going to be looking at as well is literally going to be, we're going to be asking questions about our futures. We're going to be asking questions about how social media and even what we see on TV or what we watch on the news or what people are telling us, we're going to start questioning a lot of this during this time. We might even start not believing everything that we see on YouTube, or everything that we see on the news, or everything that we kind of see on our feeds, and we might start going, but I'm seeing so much negative stuff coming up here, I don't really see it happening in my life. Is everything that I'm reading what it's supposed to be? There's a lot happening in the world right now, as with COVID, and a lot of people have got a lot of theories running around out there. I think some people who sort of never believed in the theories might go deeper in to try to discover the truth, and some people who are very deep in, and even with things with regards to political situations, some people who are very deep in situations might start to question their choices being deep in a situation or an understanding or a belief, and start to actually get more information and try to find the truth about things. This is the main theme, I think, of this Mercury retrograde. One of the things you can basically do is just look at how you view the world. What I like about Mercury retrograde as well, it kind of like makes us look at things from a different perspective. So one of the things that you may look at is getting a different perspective would be really good. That's why I was saying, like, if there is things like on belief systems that you have, try to look at things from different perspectives. You may gain some new insights and new information. Personally, on a personal level as well, aspects in your life that you need to look at what's draining you. I definitely think you have to look at that, especially with regards to what we do with our free time on the internet. We really have to look at if it's a benefit for us or a loss for us. I say this for myself as well, because I'm as guilty as anyone else. Prioritizing time, thinking about during this time as well, because I feel like we kind of like go through a pause moment where kind of like things from the past can pop back up again, situations we thought we healed pop back up again. It's there to make us look at these situations from the past in a different perspective as well, and also be able to give us an idea of where it is in the future we want to go. And this is the perfect time to do just that. Use this time to actually realize what does not serve you, what you want to release, and what it is you want to create in the future. Because after the 20th, things will start to move, even though we'll have a lingering energy of the retrograde, but things will begin to move again. And that's when you need to be quite clear about what it is you want to move into. There we go, guys. Some advice for during Mercury retrograde. Prepare yourself, guys. Batten down the hatches. Here it comes. The 30th is on its way. And we're going to see a lot of strange things popping up. Just know some of the things that are popping up are repeating cycles from the past that have already ended. And they just kind of, it's almost like it crosses over into our current reality. Know that it's just a temporary thing. So don't get back with the ex and think, oh yeah, we're going to be together forever. I think up to 80% of people who get back with the exes in Mercury retrograde, like, doesn't last very long. And then others, I don't know how long that is. If you've ever gotten back together with somebody during Mercury retrograde, let me know. That would be like, wow. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm wishing you all the best and be strong during Mercury retrograde season. Bye.